son remained calm as the judge read the sentence, death by execution.
Josue Flores was murdered last Tuesday on his way home from school.
The men confessed to shooting the teen execution style.
There was some satanic type activity taking place.
Officers tell us Trujillo stabbed her boyfriend with stiletto heel shoes.
2-year-old Riley Ann Sawyer's brutal killing shocked the nation. She was beaten to death, stuffed in a plastic box found by a fisherman in Galveston Bay.
Former NFL player Antonio Armstrong Sr. and his wife, Dawn Armstrong, were murdered.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Antonio Armstrong Jr., guilty.
One by one, they described the deaths of the alleged other 8 victims of the convicted rail car killer.
Do you still carry parts of this case around with you?
I always will. There's places I go and I'll think of parts of this case. I'll think of some of these people.
And I hope God will give that bitch, that devil, God will give that devil kidney failure. No, not kidney, liver failure. So she can know what pain is. And when she go to God, that she goes straight to hell. Be punished for every suffering that my family has suffered. If God help me and get out, everybody that hurts me will pay the price.
I want to die now. I'm going to die. I want to die.
County 911 reporting advised husband's been shot.
Good? Okay. All right. All right, here we go.
It's 1:30 in the morning and her mom's at the door, and I knew immediately what had happened, and I knew who was responsible for what had happened.
To think that somebody could be that evil and do that to a human being just because he loved a girl. You know, he fell in love, a couple. And yeah, I'll always carry that. I'm James Doucet, and I'm a sergeant with the Harris County Sheriff's Office, and I was the lead investigator on the Ollie Ersan capital murder case.
I heard 3 shots.
She probably saw who killed her.
I can't believe that she's gone.
She was beautiful, smart, courageous, and a very vocal champion of human rights.
They're not ruling out the possibility that Iran itself could be behind the murder.
Shot dead in her car just steps from her Houston home, 30-year-old Gelore Bagarzadeh died from a single gunshot wound to the head. Whoever killed her took nothing, left nothing, and disappeared, at least for 10 months.
We received a call on a Monday afternoon, it was in November, of a young man that had been found dead inside his apartment.
He was just a very sweet young man.
Victim number 2, 28-year-old Cody Beavers, not only knew victim number 1, Cody's twin brother Corey was dating Gelore Bagarzadeh, and Cody's wife, Nesreen, was Gelore's best friend. They were a tight foursome. Only 2 of them are now dead, with no official suspects.
I was called out to the scene at 10801 Legacy Park Drive. It was an apartment complex. And a young man had been found shot inside an apartment complex, inside the apartment by his wife. And her name was Nezreen Ursan at that time. When I walked in the apartment, we had the young man that had been shot multiple times laying on the floor inside the living area. And there was signs that there had been a struggle. There was like a one-bedroom apartment. His wife come home from work, and witnesses said they heard her crying, and she was screaming frantically.
I don't want to live anymore, ma'am.
You're going to make it through this, okay?
Yeah, that's
got
what I want.
Okay. It's going to be okay. We have multiple units pulling up, okay? They're going to be there in just a second.
No, why, God? Why did God do this to me?
God wasn't the one that did it.
Oh, my God.
Spoke with her in my car, recorded that interview, and she said that her words I'll never forget. Because I asked her, I said, Nezreen, you're coming across like you know who's responsible for this. And she said, Sergeant Ducey, I have a lot to tell you if you'll listen to me. And I said, Nezreen, as long as it takes, I'm going to listen to you. And so we left there and went to our headquarters at Lockwood, 601 Lockwood, and we went to an interview room and we spent all night. She told me that it was her father, Ali Ursan, that was responsible. And she started telling me the story of how she had ran away from home to get away from him. He was very controlling, and that she had met Cody Beavers while she was attending school at MD Anderson, and that she had made the decision to run away from home, was living with him and his mother, and that Ali Ursan had been looking for them. He'd been searching for them for a while.
You're speaking to an actual adult here, telling you that she decided to run away from home.
She described that there were 12 kids in all, and that some of them were in diapers. That the adults, it was her and her sister, she had a couple of brothers, and that her father was a very devout Muslim, is the way that she described him, and that he would not let them date, wouldn't let them socialize with other kids away from home. And she said that she described times at school when she wasn't allowed to wear makeup. She would go to school, she'd have friends that would loan her makeup. They would let her put that on at school, and that she'd have to take it off before she got home.
So she got tired of the control?
She did. She did.
Did Nezreen that night point blank say, my father did this?
She did, yes. She said that he had been looking for them. They knew that he had been going to the neighborhood where they were living with Cody's mother, and he had been asking neighbors where they were.
During that interview, did she mention Gilleray?
She did. She said that her friend had been murdered earlier in the year, and that she told me about Corey Beavers, and she told me the story. She said that she had met Gilleray while they were attending school, and that they became friends, and she told me that Gilleray and her family had come here from Iran, and they converted to Christianity, and that Gilleray supported her in what she was trying to do, to get away from Ali Ursan and his way of life. And she first liked Corey Beavers, and he's like, well, I've got a girlfriend, but he introduced her to Cody, his brother, his twin brother.
Was Ali angry at Gilleray for supporting her efforts to live a, I guess, more free life?
Yes. From what she explained to me, Ali Ursan, when he learned about Gilleray, he contacted her. He wanted her to help him find his daughter, Nezreen. He wanted her to tell him where she was at, and she would not do that. And basically told him he needed to leave her alone, and he didn't like that at all. And from what I'm understanding, he told her he would get her. He intended on doing a home invasion. He wanted to kill all of them. He wanted to kill Cody, Corey, Shirley McCormick, which was the mother, Nezreen, and Galloway while they were in that house. That was his intent.
The reason you wanted to do this on the phone is you don't want to give any tip-off as to where you or other family members may possibly be located, correct?
Exactly, yeah. Like, I don't even want them to know what we look like. You know, it's been more than 10 years, so we've changed the way we look. I don't want them to have any indication, you know, any idea of what we look like or anything like that.
One of the things when I was talking with Sergeant Doucet is at one point, Ersan's plan was to attack the entire family. I'm sure you know about that. Like, they actually walked the culvert behind your home.
At that time, we knew that he was trying to get Nezreen and bring her back home. What we didn't know was to what extent he was willing to go to make that happen. So while, like, you know, we saw them outside of our house, and every now and then, I think like somebody had thrown a rock at our window several times from that culvert. We didn't ever go out to go look to see who it was, but we assumed it was them. But even at that time, like, we didn't think that it was going to go this far. For me, it didn't really click until the night that Cody was killed. And the moment that my mom showed up at the door to tell me that somebody had killed my brother, the first thing I said is, like, you know, I think it was, he also killed Galloway. I know it was him. And then, you know, a couple other words. But my mom, ever since, she suspected it was him when Galloway was killed. So there was, you know, that 10 months in between there. She always suspected that he was involved in Galloway's murder. But I was trying to figure out the motive, like, why go after Galloway? It didn't make a whole lot of sense. Her and Nezreen weren't really that good of friends. So why would he target her? And then, you know, 10 months later, it happens to my brother, and then everything kind of fell into place.
So she knew what was coming and what was possible.
Absolutely. From what they described, she and Cody were both aware, and they were trying their best to hide from him and survive.
That must have been a really powerful love, to endure that type of life, just to be together.
Whatever time they could spend together, they were always together. In the very beginning of their relationship, when we were all going to the same school, Cody would go up to the school and he would just hang out at the university like all day, even though he wasn't going to school there, just so he could see Nezreen in between classes and at lunch. And then we'd all go home together. And so he did that a lot. So he was very, very in love with her, and she was very in love with him.
I mean, they were so happy. I mean, they said that was the first time she'd ever celebrated Halloween. And you could see there was a song there that she sang on, a video on there about Cody, and you could just see the love in their eyes. And it's kind of heartbreaking, you know, to see that and to know what happened.